Hello, everybody. Ledger has recently released their brand new touchscreen devices, the Ledger Flex and the Ledger Stacks, both now available for purchase, as well as brand new colors on their classic Ledger Nano devices, now in matte black, sapphire blue, emerald green, pastel pink, gold, and also now in BTC orange. Limited edition ledgers are quickly selling out as well. The Clay Nation Ledger Nano X is now officially sold out, and 10% off of their family packs to protect your crypto, and just a great overall way to keep your cryptocurrency safe, especially with all of the stuff that we have going on. While I do not work for Ledger, I am an affiliate, and I do have an affiliate link in the description below. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. This is going to be a bit dramatic, and I think that it needs to be, just for the sake of the way that things have been going. If you have not been here over the course of the last, it's been like 6 or 7 years at this point. I'm going to give you the story. I'm going to let you know what's going on. I'm going to tell you who's lying, and this isn't even a question mark in the air anymore. It's like blatantly, you guys are evil, and okay. So, back in 2016, the idea of a stable coin wasn't really a thing. The idea was that, and kind of still is, that cryptocurrencies, namely Bitcoin, at some point would kind of level off. The idea being, if Bitcoin's price is at $800, it's incredibly volatile. If Bitcoin's at $16,000, it's volatile, but not as much as it was before, between $100 to $800. Bitcoin goes up to 70,000, give or take. And you see, it's not as volatile as it was before. That's for a number of factors. One, the liquidity within the market. So someone selling any amount of Bitcoin isn't going to have a dramatic effect on the price anymore. You can't sell it and then, the price goes down by 18%. It's because there's liquidity. There's like a cushion. It's a very liquid market, a lot of money flowing through it. The secondary part is, back in the olden days, 2016, 2015, 14, you get it. Any time that there was a disruption in the market, basically people, if you sold your Bitcoin, people would only have the option of selling their Bitcoin into altcoins. So we would see a lot of times, if something happened with Bitcoin, if there was some kind of a controversy, if someone was lying about Bitcoin, if JP Morgan or someone came into the news and said that Bitcoin is used by criminals, well, Bitcoin's price would fall by 4, 5, 6, 7%, and then subsequently the altcoins would also rush up in price as well. If there was ever a day where there wasn't a lot of altcoin news, Ethereum wasn't doing too hot, Litecoin wasn't blah, 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 those coins would sell off, and that money would subsequently also then move back into Bitcoin. That's where the major price swings that we used to see, like daily, like it was, you think the market's rough now? Years ago, you would wake up and you see prices are down by 20%, and you're like, oh, this is totally fine. You would wake up, they're up by 27%. This kind of, back and forth was a lot for the mind. When stable coins were introduced, namely Tether, the idea was that traders, people trading crypto back and forth, or anyone who's trying to move out of their position, would no longer have to exclusively either sell their coins on a cryptocurrency exchange or simply swap it into Ethereum or some other strong altcoin. They would then have the option to basically swap it into Tether. The idea is, since people normally swap back into the US dollar, the euro, or the yen already, give them a digital version of what they're trying to swap back into so that they don't essentially have to leave the cryptocurrency market. It was kind of genius. No one had really thought of or openly discussed the idea of stablecoins. People made jokes years later that some coins were similar to stablecoins, but the idea was that no one really had created anything like this. Like the idea of it just seemed kind of nonsensical, because why would you need a digital version of the dollar that people are already using? As Tether's popularity began to grow because people realized that it was like creating a huge amount of stability in the market, other companies realized as well that they could do the exact same thing. So that's where we started seeing Binance's stablecoin and Coinbase's Circle Coin and all the other ones that we've seen popping up over the years. A lot of companies tried to make gold-backed stable coins, which I think 15 of them failed. There's another one that's currently floating around, but it has like a different mechanism, so that's not even really part of the discussion. The other thing was that you might have realized that we started getting a lot of news articles over the course of the last 3.5 years about how much money that Tether was making from the market. Tether, the coin, has very low transaction fees comparative to a number of other coins. And then since there's so many transactions happening within it, the company's making a very large amount of money. With that comes an egregious amount of jealousy and envy, basically from people who didn't think of the same thing first. That's why whenever we keep seeing these brand new coins popping up, I'm trying to warn you and tell you, like, don't pay attention to them. They're only being created because these people realize that they could have created Bitcoin or cryptocurrency many years ago. They dismissed the entire market, pushed it to the side. Now they see that there's big money to be made. Now they're trying to court us. That's why whenever we keep hearing from PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, all these other companies, I'm like, don't pay attention to them, because they're just now realizing how much money there is to be made. But the problem is because me and you are not rich enough. They didn't pay any mind to us. Now that big money is getting into the market, now they're like, hey, you should tie your PayPal to this. Hey, remember that thing you were using before that we told you was garbage? Well, guess what? We integrated it into our systems now as well. Tether has become kind of the biggest entity within the cryptocurrency space outside of any decentralized coin. People had problems years ago with Tether, one of 30 reasons, because Tether is not decentralized. And people were like, you're not decentralized, you can take my money. And it's like, yeah, well, you give your money to Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, Binance, and to BlackRock and to Fidelity, and you scream decentralization. Tether is a company. Tether created a coin that they never said was decentralized. They said this is a stable coin. They create the Tether. They hold the Tether. They control the Tether transactions. They work very closely with law enforcement. We've known that since 2018, 2019, because a lot of people tried to use Tether for various things, and then their accounts got frozen, and people were like, you can't do that. And it's like, no, they can, because you never read the fine print, and they're a company who has control over their own assets that they are creating. So at the center of all of this is basically greed, like an unprecedented level of greed, but also like a comical, like 1990s Saturday morning cartoon kind of evil. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about, because basically Tether has done incredibly well for themselves. As I stated before, and I will state again, remember when all the cryptocurrency exchanges got into trouble across various countries and different places, and I was like, no, something is wrong here. And I kept on saying, well, the problem is, I don't think that Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, Binance, you name it, Bitfinex, all of them, I don't think that any Ripple, any cryptocurrency company is mentally going to go to Canada, go to Mexico, go to Latin America, go to India, go to Singapore, go to South Korea, go to Japan, go to Australia, go anywhere in Europe, and make sure that they don't follow the rules. The way that it usually ends up working is, and kind of all the time, is that before you open up a mega company like this, you usually talk to the regulators. This is why we keep hearing, this company just got this letter, this company just got this so-and-so, this company can now work here. Before you open up, like you as someone from Tether or Ripple or Binance, you don't go to a country, rent out a space and go, we're here now. Forget regulators. We don't care about them. No, it doesn't make any sense. That's why every time all of these regulators got some company in trouble in another country, I was like, no, Coinbase is way too rich to go to any country and make sure that they don't follow the rules. I don't think that any company, I don't think Binance would do that. I don't think Ripple would do that. That's why all of these things just basically had to do with greed. And as I told you before, these people are so stupid. You're stepping on the feet of the people who are trying to bring billions to your economy. And then you sit there, like you make sure that they leave your borders, and then no one else goes there to do work. And then you wonder why no one's giving you any money. For those of you who also, side note, for those of you who also didn't see it, that Binance executive who was held in Nigeria, I think it was like, was it almost 8 months or something nonsensical like that? He was finally let go. I guess someone there probably saw my video where I was telling them how dumb they were. You know that no one's ever going to want to do business in that country again. Can you imagine having one of the weakest economies on the planet, and Binance says, you know what? We're not going to give you a leg up. We're going to launch you into the stratosphere. We're going to bring cryptocurrency right here. We're going to make sure that your growing population not only learns about crypto and Bitcoin and Ethereum, but you all make a tremendous amount of money. And then you lock up one of their executives talking about money laundering. And then a month after you go, okay, we'll let him go if you give us $5 million. Do you think anyone's ever going to go and do business in your country in the next 2 or 3 decades? What idiots, like absolute freaking idiots. And as you don't proceed forward in the cryptocurrency market and you get no money, please ask yourself why. Please, for the love of God. The other part is that every single cryptocurrency exchange uses Tether. And I told you back in 2018, if you don't remember, here we go again, because a lot of controversy began to pop up around Tether. We now know that it was all lies. And it was mainly because people kept on saying Tether was fake. Tether's not this. Tether's not backed by anything, yada, yada, yada. And I kept on saying, I was like, maybe that's true. However, why would every crypto exchange be listing it? You know how like every crypto exchange does due diligence to make sure that your money, my money, our money, everyone's money is okay? I said, why would they be listing a scam on every single platform? Let's give it 6 months. You know, I always say that I'm like, hey, when something pops up, we're either going to hear about this again, something's going to fall apart, we will hear about it again if the entire thing ends up, that was supposed to be an explosion. That's not how explosions sound. So, and then 2019, nothing happened to Tether. 2020, nothing happened to Tether. 2021, nothing happened. And I was like, well, Tether's clearly real. Every single time that they gave us a proof of reserves, telling us how much money they had, there was always some kind of like rebuttal, so kind of pushback. Well, that's not enough information. And I noticed very quickly, very fast, who was saying this misinformation over and over. And I'm going to show you as well, just so you can also remember when I was talking about this company's just kind of evil and almost like comically evil. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about, because it's also like, what are you, we know that you're lying. So the point to be made for this conversation is that Tether is real. Tether is backed by stuff. Tether is like a major company, and other people are like extremely jealous of what Tether has been doing and what Tether is currently doing and how big that Tether is going to get. I do not believe for 1 second that the people from Tether would, for those of you who missed it, this was around March or April, we found out that Tether does around $1 trillion worth of transactions per month on their chain, like through Tether, like the coin in general. What world would you be living in if you made sure that you did everything in your power to stop that, to manipulate that, or to lie to crypto exchanges? You would probably you would go above and beyond to make sure that none of that went wrong. Everyone's still on the same page? In response to a Wall Street Journal report alleging that U.S. federal authorities are investigating Tether for promoting or for potentially money laundering, Tether CEO Paulo Ardoino has denied any knowledge of a federal probe. So once again, someone has come forward to say that something's wrong with Tether. There's a problem with Tether. Authorities are looking at Tether. Tether's money laundering. Remember what I told you before? Whenever a company says money laundering, they're just kind of throwing rocks in your face. They're trying to make it seem like something is happening, something's evil, something nefarious is going on. Very similar to Warren Buffett, Jamie Dimon, and all these other billionaires who were like, Bitcoin's evil, Bitcoin's so-and-so, Bitcoin's only used by certain people. These are triggers that are supposed to make you believe that what you're touching or what you're looking at is evil in some sort of way, and you should stay away from it. What common thread will you hear me saying over and over? In response to a Wall Street Journal report alleging, the Wall Street Journal report, citing anonymous sources, claimed that the U.S. Attorney Office in Manhattan is investigating whether third parties use Tether stablecoin platform for illicit activities. I can't say those words, and I definitely can't say that word either. It has to do with things that, and also financing of other illegal things. The Wall Street Journal reported and suggested that investigators are examining if Tether indirectly facilitated transactions for sanctioned entities. What did you hear me saying over and over? What three words? Wall Street Journal, Wall Street Journal, Wall Street Journal, Wall Street Journal. Remember when I told you back in 2019, I had already figured it out, but I kept my mouth shut because I was like, you know what? I want to see if anyone else figured this out. I want to see if anyone else comes forward or kind of understands what's going on. You should all know, the people from the Wall Street Journal are probably some of the most corrupt people on the planet. I didn't know. I was trying to find sweeter words, but that doesn't really. About 15 times per year. That's a 1 and a 5 times per year. The Wall Street Journal releases an article about how evil Tether is. I think the worst part for me is that things like that should be illegal. You should not be able to spread false news, like literal fake news, like a couple of news channels that in America who explicitly just lie over and over, and at the end of the episode they tell you all the lies that they said, and people kind of look over it, which corruption at its absolute finest. Can you imagine saying anything about someone like the Wall Street Journal and then citing anonymous sources? Wait. I saw that there was a bottle of ketchup and what's that guy's name? Michael Jackson. They were running on the moon together. But no, stop. I heard it from anonymous sources because, it's just, I can't really say as a news publication. So you can try and throw a company under the bus. You try to manipulate the price of something. You try to bring down the valuation of a company in a literal smear campaign, and you cite anonymous sources over and over and over and over again. This is an article from Investopedia. Bitcoin's 2017 rise was market manipulation by Tether. That was the first indication that we got that people hated Tether because people realized exactly what they had made and how much money they were making. The idea is that Tether was backed by nothing. People thought that Tether was literally just printing Tether literal out of thin air, like making click on the keyboard, making up numbers. And they were using all of that Tether to buy Bitcoin for themselves. That then also turned into later, people thought that the company Tether, after having allegedly creating fake Tether, using it to buy Bitcoin, that they were going to flood the market with over 1 million Bitcoin and destroy the coin's valuation, basically leaving Tether as like the brand new PayPal. And I say to this once again, why? Why the fudge would anyone do that to their company? Tether was moving millions of dollars per month in Tether in 2017, 2018. They're now moving trillions of dollars. We are not in the year 2040. We do not have billions of people in the cryptocurrency market. Why would they do something to destroy their own business? That goes back to people were stupid. In 2016, 2017, and 2018, when the company Ripple was forced to put the coins that they held into escrow. Because people kept on lying and they were saying, well they're going to sell all their Ripple's going to flood into the market and they're going to make all this money. That's not how market dynamics even work. If you have a gigantic sell order for something, the price would collapse and then the company wouldn't make any money. Have you not seen a sell order before? If you have 1,000 sell orders, it won't get filled at market price. At the current price. So Ripple was forced to lock up all their coins. And even now, whenever their coins get unlocked automatically by the escrow, people still now write articles. What is Ripple going to do with their 1 billion coins? Are they about to flood the market? Some of these coins just moved to a new address. Are they about to flood the market? Why are they moving to Coinbase? What's about to happen to these coins? Is XRP about to go down? You have nothing better to do with your time? My God. Nothing. This whole market is so stupid. It's full of like some of the dumbest people I've ever seen in my entire lives walking into walls. You see that there's a doorway there that you can walk out of and people just continue spreading the same lies and the same rumors over and over and over. It's actually like this market in the future is going to be studied. We are going to look so primitive as a community in like 50, 60 years. And people, what the hell was everyone talking about online? It's just like, I mean, no, really? Going over this, like I told you, every single day, I go over news every single day in this space. It's only corroded. It's only gotten worse as time has gone on. You can't imagine the stuff that ends up in the news every single day. And I'm not even talking about all these other crappy coins, the stuff that people think and that they say. It's out of this world. It's absolutely ridiculous. This was back in 2017. People thought that these people were making it out of nowhere. And the people from Tether was like, no, like we can show you. We can show you that it's backed by something. Of course, no one believed them. 4 men controlled 86% of Tether shares in 2018. Tether is deeply intertwined with Bitfinex. The two firms have a common CEO, CFO, and general counsel, as per a Wall Street Journal report. Who said what? Who said what? What was it again? A Wall Street Journal report. How awesome. How amazing. Even crazier. No one said jack diddly squat about Circle and Coinbase because it's the same exact thing. Coinbase basically created Circle. Circle created the stablecoin. Why do you think Coinbase is pushing the Circle coin so much on every single platform or telling you how amazing Base is because they're minting Circle on it? It's the same freaking company. It's the same exact thing with FTX and Alameda. You always have like a partner company in some sort of way. We know that Tether's centralized. Like it's literally supposed to be controlled. That's part of what it is. They have to control the supply. It's theirs. It is a digital version of a dollar from a company who is not decentralized. Wall Street Journal report. Wall Street Journal. The unusual crew behind Tether, crypto's preeminent stablecoin. Wall Street Journal. Tether sheds light, but not enough, on its $63 billion of reserves. The stablecoin has secured itself a critical place in the crypto ecosystem, but its holdings fall short compared with those prime money market funds. Ask yourself, why is the Wall Street Journal so obsessed with Tether? Why did we see such a gigantic backlash from US regulators in 2022 and 2023 against cryptocurrency companies? Do you remember the entire thing about a year and a half ago when all the stable coins had depegged at the exact same time? Didn't that seem weird to anyone? Doesn't it seem like someone would be trying to create their own stable coin and they're trying to create chaos in the market? Do you remember that when every stable coin depegged the exact same day and I said there's no way? You need an enormous amount of money to be able to do that and try and manipulate the market. Why would the Wall Street Journal, since 2018, have written over 100 articles about how bad and evil Tether is? Doesn't that seem a little odd when there's actual stuff going on in finance? Who owns the Wall Street Journal? What position do they have in the cryptocurrency market? I told you this earlier. When you find out that a company is making, they're moving $1 trillion, there are world banks, there are central banks, there are governments that do not move $1 trillion in a month. Nonetheless, 12, 13, 14 trillion dollars a year. Do you understand that? Why would you be so obsessed with a company that continues to show us? You know how many audits Tether has had? You know how many times Tether has had to hire companies to prove how much money they have? It's been like 6 or 7 times that we know of. Once again, I find it weird because no crypto exchange would be listing Tether if something was wrong with it. None of them. You can't have that risk. But the Wall Street Journal, however, they don't give 2 squats. Tether disinformation. Tether responds to Wall Street Journal disinformation. This was the 30th of August, 2022 from the Wall Street Journal. Okay. Short sellers bet Tether crypto central bank is vulnerable to a run. Tether says it has conservative investments, while hedge funds question how much risk lies in the $82 billion investment portfolio that backs the cryptocurrency. This was the 3rd of April, 2022. I wasn't joking when I said 15 times a year. That wasn't a joke. It's over 15 times a year that they're making articles about how evil Tether is. Something's wrong with Tether. Oh, also, like, they're not vulnerable to a run because that doesn't make any sense. One, you can't run like from the, because it's all on chain. The idea of a bank run is that you would be able to go to a crypto exchange and kind of get your money back, which you can. You can get your Tether, if you have Tether, off of the crypto exchange at any time. 2, why would Tether run away with the money when they're making billions of dollars every quarter? Why would they do that, Wall Street Journal? Citing anonymous sources. Can you imagine? What kind of nonsense is this? When things like this happen, I expect a pushback. A strongly worded letter to the Wall Street Journal. Someone exposing them. You can't lie about stuff like this. An anonymous source? You can say anything. You can literally say whatever you want and say an anonymous source. Got another one for you. Stablecoin giant Tether hit with a $41 million fine in latest crypto crackdown. Can you guess what website this is? Wall Street Journal. Regulator says company misrepresented dollar reserves behind this digital tokens. Tether said issues have since been addressed. Wall Street Journal once again. Here's another one. Here's the most recent one. Oh, no, actually, no, that's actually, stop. This is something that happened earlier this year, and this is what the latest thing that we were just talking about is about once again. So this is from April 1st, 2024, where the Wall Street Journal once again alleges that the people from Tether, or rather, how do I say this? That criminals have been using Tether for their illicit practices and buying large pieces of metal that go boom, boom, that kind of thing. So one, that's not how criminals work. I'm not sure if you know that. You want to know why? Because we found out back in 2016, 2017 that Bitcoin is not anonymous. See where I'm going with this? So back in the olden days, remember when I told you, like, when I was like looking from afar at the cryptocurrency market, I was trying to figure out what it was, what was going on. The idea was that criminals were actually using Bitcoin back then, or air quote criminals, people doing what they wanted to do in their own lives. And that's because people thought that the transactions couldn't be traced. By the time that people figured out that transactions could be traced, that's when we got the big 3. Monero, Zcash, and Dash. 3 coins that had completely private transactions. You've noticed over the last couple of years, we've had a lot of news stories that like governments have been banning these coins. Cryptocurrency exchanges have had to take these coins off of their platform. You have until December 31st. You can't use it anymore. It's because they have private transactions. When people figured out that Bitcoin wasn't private, they moved over to other coins that had actual private transactions. Everyone's still with me. We found out back in 2018 that Tether was centralized, that Tether was run by a company, that Tether could stop transactions. We've had news articles before, for those of you who don't know, we've had news articles before that someone stole around $3,000 worth of Tether in some capacity on some exchange. I don't know how they did it. Those coins were frozen in about 3.5 minutes by the company. We've had it multiple times. Even years ago, there were a lot of, like the Mt. Gox era, like early 2017, there were a lot of like cryptocurrency scams and stuff going on. And there were people back then who stole like 8,000 Ether. At some point, these people assumed everyone forgot, and they swapped their Ether years later into Tether, trying to move it around. The moment those coins got swapped into Tether, that wallet address was frozen. Riddle me this. If you are a company, if you are doing illicit trade, shadow trade, as it's, once again, the word shadow meant to make you think something nefarious is happening. If you are going to conduct shadow trade of hundreds of millions, potentially billions of dollars for things that go boom, boom and things that are evil, you didn't do any research beforehand? What do I mean by that? You simply went, oh, that looks like the dollar, let's use that. No, for those of you who've never seen a movie anymore, criminals actually do research into what they do and what they're using. Your first thought when trying to commit shadow trade isn't let me go use the most centralized thing in the cryptocurrency market. Even if you had half a brain, you would go use Bitcoin. If you had, you understand what I'm saying? Why the hell would anyone go? I mean, even Litecoin has private transactions now. Your first thought is to use Tether, Wall Street Journal. Why are you allowed to lie so much and so often and so frequently with no repercussions? Like, I understand freedom of press, but isn't there a limit when it comes to lying to the public or like a literal smear campaign against a company? Because you might sit there with your arms folded and not really care. You understand that this affects all of us, right? Because if Tether goes down because of the Wall Street Journal, our market also collapses. Tether has established itself as a major company in the last 7 years. They've been explicitly open to all of us. What happens if you keep lying over and over and then something ends up falling, something ends up breaking? Your money is also affected. Yeah, you forgot about that, didn't you? Because people always forget that other things that people do also affect them as well. It's a really big thing within the cryptocurrency market. People keep forgetting and they lie and they tell all this nonsense to other people about other coins, about other projects, and then you get surprised when your coin also falls down and you lose money. That's been a major thing. I told you all that years ago when all of you were lying about Ripple and then Lumens fell. A lot of people were lying about Ethereum, and I said Ethereum's tied to every other coin. Ethereum goes down, every other coin falls. You forget this is an ecosystem. I know it sounds cheesy when I say we should all be working together, but listen to what I'm saying. This was major news, obviously, if you didn't get it. If you didn't get the last couple of minutes, yes, this was gigantically major news. A lot of people even said that this was the reason why the market dipped as well, because of this news. The idea that Tether might be actually fake. Because once again, people within crypto, and it's not even about researching. It's like connecting the damn dots. The Wall Street Journal has explicitly been lying about the cryptocurrency market and Tether since 2018. Every single time, all the time. Monthly, like literally monthly. They also talk nonsense about a bunch of other coins as well, constantly, over and over and over. The best part being is that no one's going to do anything about this. People will let them continue lying, continue to exist as they try to ruin the entire cryptocurrency market, because someone behind the scenes who either runs the Wall Street Journal or who runs the Wall Street Journal has a stake in another company who's also trying to create a stablecoin. It's always greed. It's always evil. It's always just money. Anywho, yeah, nonsense. It's cartoonishly evil. They're writing articles about a stablecoin. It's like it's actually someone sitting in a dark castle at the top of a hill stroking a hairless cat. 15 times a year? Are you joking? I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.